What's up, everybody? Welcome to Booze History. What sounds like the beginning of a joke. A preacher, a slave, and an orphan all walk into a bar, but what comes out is Jack Daniel's, America's most famous whiskey worldwide. So, you don't know Jack, but you're about to find out. Jack Daniel's birthday is contested. It's said that he was born in 1850. However, due to the fact that his mother passed away somewhere between 1847 and 1849, it's highly unlikely that he was born in 1850. Never got along with his stepmom and ended up running away from home to become an orphan, who was taken under the wing of a Lutheran preacher named Dan Call, who also liked to moonshine on the side. His master distiller, and until just recently, 2016, it wasn't revealed, was his own slave, Nearest Green. Nearest Green ended up teaching Jack Daniels everything that he knows and helping him create the Tennessee whiskey that we know today. Although Jack Daniels does follow all 5 of the laws in order to be a bourbon, it isn't a bourbon. It's actually considered a Tennessee whiskey. And in order to be a Tennessee whiskey, you have to do what's called the Lincoln County process, where you mellow the whiskey through the charcoal of the sugar maple tree. And that makes it into its own unique spirit. And anyone that wants to be a Tennessee whiskey has to also do this step. Jack Daniels made a big whiskey that made a big impact on the world. However, he was a wee little guy, standing at only 5 feet 2 inches. In fact, the statue at the Jack Daniel's Distillery had to have the feet made larger in order for to be able to support the statue. Another thing about his feet, he ended up kicking his safe in a fit of rage, which caused a blood infection that later killed him. So another great thing about Jack Daniels is that wasn't even his real name. Jack was his alias. His real name is Jasper Newton Daniel. But, Jasper Daniels or Newton Daniels just doesn't roll off the tongue the same way. No pun intended. So there's a wild range of rationale for what the number 7 on a bottle of Jack Daniels means. A lot of people think that it was the 7th recipe that he ended up deciding on to make as Jack Daniels. However, one of the most rational explanations that I've heard is that it was the registration number of his original distillery that ended up actually getting changed later due to a rezoning to, I think it was 16 or 14. However, by that time, the number 7 had stuck in his branding, and so he never changed it. As an homage to Frank Sinatra, Jack Daniels released a limited edition product where they had taken their barrels and carved extra lines in them so you'd get more flavor out of it, and it was called the Frank Sinatra edition. They also did that for another famous musician, Lemmy from Motorhead, who passed away young. Jack Daniels never had kids, but he ended up passing his distillery down to his nephews, who ended up buying one out from the other, and didn't sell the company until 1956 to the Brown Forman Company, who owns a large stockpile of different whiskeys. Jack Daniels had to stop production multiple times, but once for the temperance movement, which took a hold of Tennessee before it was able to grab a hold of the federal level. That hold stayed until this day, where in Moore County, you actually cannot sell any Jack Daniels. However, there is a loophole where you're able to sell a commemorative item, and that's the way that you can leave the Jack Daniel's Distillery with one bottle. Jack Daniel's now comes in all sorts of different flavors, from black to green, Gentleman Jack, single barrel. There's flavored Jack with cinnamon, and all sorts of other flavors where people want to have their whiskey taken. Special commemorative bottles like the Sinatra or the Lemmy. Also, different bottles that come out on their anniversaries. Just remember the long history of what Jack Daniel's was, where it came from. A man that always dressed to the T's because he believed that his presence would be attributed to his spirit. Thanks for watching Booze History. I make these shows for my fans, so if there's a certain spirit that you love, leave it down below, and that way I can make an episode specially for you. As always, like and share. Enjoy a glass of Jack Daniel's, and cheers. I'll see you next time.